Hello, hello. I am 5 seconds early. Imagine that. Look at that. I'm never early for anything, ever. And I've actually been sitting here waiting for that clock to count down because I'm like, you know what? I scheduled something. I might as well just go on when I schedule it. Um, but yes, I just wanted to check in with everybody on this sunny Monday morning. I hope it is sunny wherever you are on the globe. It's still a little chilly out. I took the dogs out and it was like a little bit colder than I'd like it to be. It's still a little icy, but I'm hoping to get outside and get out a little bit in the sun today because I've desperately, guys, sun is like sunshine is literally like the best antidepressant, natural antidepressant. I cannot suggest that enough. Like get one of those, those they have those lamps that are supposed to like simulate natural sunlight. I've been thinking about getting one of those to see if that helps at all with like seasonal depression because it's real, guys. Like I'm feeling it this year, and I just figured I had depression all the time, but it's gotten particularly. Hey, Nicole, it's gotten particularly unpleasant lately, and yeah, I know that like I'm not talking about anything too crazy today because, like I said, I need a break from some things. I got some stuff in the works for everybody, but for the meantime, I did want to come and check in and chat for a little bit because I am taking well, I'm going to try to take a week off anyways. So I'm in the last week of my term for grad school, and I have both of my last semester. I had each of my like final projects due in separate weeks. Hey, Gladys. But this time I have them all due this week, and I'm also behind. So that makes it so I still have two assignments left to do. Hey, Air Force Vet. I still have two assignments left to do that I was supposed to turn in last night that I was still playing catch up, and then my 20-page final presentation. So yes, I'm gonna need to take some time off of YouTube. I'm probably gonna like not even come on here at all, except to watch like really cheesy like top 5, top 10 videos about things that have nothing to do with drama. Or anything like this, because it is very distracting, and I am reminded every day why I didn't start going live until after my first semester last semester. But I have A's in both my classes right now, so obviously it hasn't affected it too badly. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I'll be happy to get a B in one of these classes. I'm absolutely shocked I have an A actually. But I was actually like gonna come on here and I was gonna talk about something too. I was like, you know what? I mean, I just want to direct my professors to this live or some of my lives because you'll hear like the stuff that I'm learning come out of my mouth in these lives, and it totally shows that I understand the context of things um, because I'm explaining it, and it makes sense in my head. It's actually really neat because yesterday I was well, I did a paper on oh my god, my brain. I'm still waking up here. Hi, current Mrs. B. Um, and it's oh my god, why am I like so completely brain dead right now? Um, what is it? The differentiated and central positioning in marketing. So I was looking at that, and then like the multi brand versus multi product marketing, and I was kind of using that in terms of how YouTube works. And I hate talking about people as like a target market or whatever, but like ultimately that's what everybody this is a market, our little microcosm here, and everybody in this, we all have similar interests, and some of the larger channels kind of go with that, but I like to see it as like a claw machine. So like all the toys and prizes that are in that machine are like the target market. But if you want to target market segments, you're going to use that crane to pick like it, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Is because I saw an opportunity, because I wanted something a little bit different personally. So I felt like I fell into a different a little bit of a different segment, and I wanted to do something a little bit different on here, and I didn't realize it was going to cause all sorts of problems. I'm not looking to I'm not looking, you in a market, you can either do things better or do things differently. And both of those are very valid ways to become successful and, get a foothold in that market, to grow. And it really depends on the situation, and it's trial and error a lot of the time. I'm not looking to like do anything better than anybody else per se. I want to do things differently and better. What is better anyway? That's all in like people's personal perception. So, like I said, I did it because Nicole, and that's what I'm trying to do. And a lot of people will be like, well, it's it's not real or whatever, but it is. I try to be rational and calm because that's who I am as a person. And I feel like that's, should be really clear to you guys. I mean, time will always tell who people really are. Sometimes you have to just count on it. But that's what I'm hoping for me. I mean, I could react and I could get really angry about some things I've seen lately. And I've wanted to get really angry because I do get angry. Because I think some of the things I've seen aren't fair, but, directed at myself anyway. But I'm not going to. And you want to know why I'm not going to? Because I don't need to. I'm going to let my words on here, my comments, everything. I'm going to let everything speak for itself. And if people truly believe that I'm, the big bad monster that people, for some reason, seem to think I am, then okay, so be it. But I don't think so. Because I've never been called some of the things I've seen on here being called even at my worst. So, let that fall where it may. But, and I don't even care because I'm just going to continue to do my own thing. The people who come to my channel and they like my channel, they like it a lot. I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm not here to, get huge amounts of views or, subscribers or, I want to build a community. That's about it. And if it's a small community, so be it. But I'm just honored that, as many people, watch me as they do. I didn't think I'd have 10 people, let alone like 600. Like if you had told me then that I would have even gotten this far, I probably would have told you were crazy. I just wanted a community tab, honestly. And, I've gotten that and I've surpassed that. And I feel honored. So clearly I'm doing something right. So I'm not going to put too much thought into it. I'm just gonna continue to do what I'm doing, and take a little bit of a different route because I want to see. I have to think that a lot of people are just tired of some of the stuff that goes on, and if I can offer just somewhere that's a little bit different and more low key than that, that's all I care about. Because there are so many people that have come to me, and including like myself, who have felt kind of like giving up on all this because it's gotten so volatile here, and there's just been a lot of hurt being thrown around, and nobody's safe from it, and it affects you. I'll be the first to say it. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't affect me. I'm not gonna pretend that it does. It hurts seeing things about yourself that you feel are really unfair and not true. So and it's rough, and it's rough to see other people being treated poorly as well. It really, and I'm learning now that it also is really different as a creator to see things being done the way they are, because it puts you in a unique position where how you handle things is very public. Hey Johnny. Hi Nina. Oh, thank you for checking in, Nina. I appreciate seeing you here. Yeah, I think oh yeah, I think you wrote a comment. I was gonna say, I know who I've seen you. I think I recognize you from where do I recognize you from? Is it Crafton and Kim's channel? I think so. I feel like I've talked to you there. See, and I recognize, I like seeing people's names that I recognize who I haven't seen come on my chat. And I know that I'm not like, super exciting. And I know that there are people who probably do it better, but I'm just I'll talk to myself. I really could care less. I mean, if I have something to say, I have something to say, but I really enjoy having the people that I have in chat. And I've been trying to go live at different times because I know that there are people like, across the pond that, if I'm on late, it's super late for them. And I would like, oh, and okay. All right, Nina. Okay. Sometimes I forget where I go. Not where I go, but I forget where I see what at this point, because, guys, that's what actually the point I was trying to make, just now is that, I've heard some people have come to me and they're like, well, you say you're not about drama, but you're in all of these drama channels. And first of all, I don't think that some people, everybody in this community, that's fair to label them as a drama channel. I think that there are a variety of different categories of people on here. I think all of us have done drama, but I don't think everybody here is like a drama channel. This is a good time for folks in Europe. Are you in Europe, Nina? I'm assuming you are, if you're saying so. Yeah, I hope this is a good time. That's what I thought it was. Because as some, as somebody who does marketing and business, I like to look into these things because I want to be able to present, hey, Rody gal, I want to be able to present the best product as I possibly can. And this is just how I talk. It doesn't, I want to reach as many people as I can because, this community is made up of people. There's actually a lot of people, especially from the UK and Scotland. There's actually quite a bit of people from there that are in this community, as well as Australia has a really large representation as well. For European countries, that seems to be the vast majority of countries that I see come up in my analytics, like foreign countries. And then you have like India because of the bots. So I thought that was interesting. Or else there are people here that, come in and chat that are living in India that I just don't know about. I'm going to assume it's the bots. That's my understanding. But, I feel like, that I was part of this community before I decided to, start my channel. Like, I feel like there's a lot of like questioning and a lot of people wondering why I'm here or why I decided to start my channel. And, I want to be, oh, you're Scottish too, Mrs. B? Okay. All right. I had no idea that I did one of those DNA tests and I had no idea I had Scottish in me. Zero. I always thought that I was just German and Lithuanian and nothing else, but I do have a little bit of Scottish in me and I was a little bit surprised. So, there we go. I really was. And even on my biological, because I was adopted, but my biological parents were, because I'm in touch with them. They were surprised. They were like, really? We didn't know that. So here you go. I'm here because, I got involved. I like true crime. Hey, Cece. I really like true crime. I think a lot of us really like true crime. So I ended up finding the Watts case, and I think a lot of us kind of snowballed from there, or the Petito case. There's a lot of people that are here from the Petito case as well. And that's how we kind of got exposed to one channel or the other. And eventually, the big one would be Natasha that, a lot of us found. Not all of us, but many of us. You can make a joke. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about rude jokes right now. I don't know. But I like you. I don't think you would say anything that's too that's too bad. I think yeah. Sometimes I say that I'm being like mean or something, and I'm like, somebody's like, Emma, that's not mean at all. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, to me, it's mean. So we all have very different ideas of what mean is, and I think that's where a lot of us get in trouble sometimes. But or what's off color in terms of jokes. But I think that there's some black and white to that as well. But so that I was part of this community, and I obviously we all kind of went through this thing where people. Stuff started happening, in Natasha's chat that I didn't really care for. And, I don't want to go into, I've told that story 1,000 trillion times. So, this is not that. I think most people know how I feel about things. Hi, SA. Happy Monday. Yes. Oh, okay, Mrs. B. All right. I was surprised. I always thought I was German and Lithuanian. I mean, that was like, I'm like, I think it's, what is it, like third generation? So, who knows where that came from? But, I didn't really know my dad's side. So I guess that maybe it wasn't as shocking. I think they thought they were Irish though. So the fact that it was Scottish was a little bit of a surprise. Who knows? Over here in America, we're like a big melting pot of everything. I mean, and as the generations go on, it's getting more and more so. I've noticed that, like, my parents, when they did their DNA tests, they're like straight two things, because my parents are in their 70s. So, there wasn't as much of like the melting pot stuff going on. And as generations have gone on, like people's family trees have gotten so colorful and interesting. And I think that's really cool. Hey, kitty kisses, including myself, but I actually wasn't as varied as, I don't know. I was a little surprised by it. I definitely was, but it's interesting because, I almost hope that my biological parents don't watch this, but if they do, they might. Hopefully they don't mind me sharing this, but it was kind of interesting because, the DNA test basically confirmed that my dad was my dad, which was, I always knew he was, because I look just like him. But, it was the first time, like, because when I met my biological dad when I was 19, and I met his family, and their first thing that came out of his mother's mouth was, I thought you'd be taller, which is because my entire family is incredibly tall, like on all sides. Um, I am by far the shortest person in my family, with the exception of my great grandmother, who is my doppelganger. I am actually going to show a picture of both of us side by side. A picture. You guys are going to be like, "Oh my God, is that you dressed up in like old timey like European clothing?" Because holy crap, when I saw that, I was like, "This is insane." It was one of like the freakiest things I've ever seen. But it really made me feel like I belong because, like, I am short. I'm barely 5'5", and my mom is probably 5'9", maybe. My dad is 6'3". My brother's 6'4". My niece is like almost as tall as I am at like age 7. So, I mean, everybody in my family is tall. Everybody, except for me and great grandma Agnes. So, yeah, I do. Well, right, Mrs. B, I do. And actually, I had a couple people request to hear my adoption story, which I never thought anybody would be interested in, but I'd be more than happy. I've actually spoken on panels about that. Yeah, that's fair. Well, in my family, it's short. Comparatively, in my family, that's short. Um, Plus, though, the weirdest thing, Nina, is that they thought I had like issues when I was growing up because I've been 5'5" since the fourth grade. So I stopped growing at age like 10 or 11. Um, so I was always the tallest person in my class. They thought I was going to be a giant. And then I just stopped growing and everybody started. And now I'm like, short. But it was always really weird. Like I grew really fast. And I always felt out of place. Every little thing that goes on in your life, it's the little things like that that contribute to how you are as an adult and how you feel. Like I've always felt like the black sheep, and like one of those had to do with the fact that I was different from the other kids. And I think other people can attest to that kind of thing. Like you've had that one thing in your life that really isn't a big deal, but it felt like a big deal at the time, and it's kind of molded your brain into how you are and how you felt about things in the world. And I always find that fascinating too, just from a psychological standpoint. Psychology and criminology is kind of the family business. So, I've always been fascinated by that, very much so. I have a lot of interest. And I'm also a musician. So I am going to be doing a concert for you guys. And, that concert I have accepted will have to be a face reveal. Not that I haven't revealed my face, because I have, but, in real time. Like I said, I'm not ashamed of. I've put up pictures of who I am. I've put up videos of myself. That's who I am. The reason I don't come on here on camera, actually, I am self-conscious. That's fair. I am self-conscious, but I have a hard enough time talking to people, without having to look at myself while I'm doing it. So I might, yeah. So that's why. It's because I'm shy. I really am. I'm shy. Like I've had people. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. Like, recently I've started, I've met some people in this community, and I've talked to a few people on the phone, not many. Mostly people who are like my mods, or, people who I've been talking to for much longer than, maybe a year or so. But I'm terrified of talking on the phone. I don't know if anybody else is. I don't know if that's like a generational thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm 33, but I struggle. Like, if I see somebody calling me on the phone, I'm like, I probably should just do the phone, because I write like I talk, which goes on and on and on. Anybody here who has corresponded with me on email or anything, you can attest to the fact that I write novels. I will write this giant stream of consciousness that I have to later go back and kind of try to put into paragraph form. Sorry, my dogs are being jerks. You play music too, Johnny? That's awesome. Yeah, I play bass, guitar, and piano. Piano is definitely my lesser talent. You're 5'2". Well, I guess I'm tall for you to you. Um, but yeah, I've played since I was 10. I'm no Hendrix. I'm not great, but I'm definitely not terrible either. I think guitar is one of the things that I've never been told I'm bad at. So that's always something. There are some, how there are some people in your life that like never ever give compliments. So when they do give a compliment, it's real, and it's like it's legit. Which I don't know. I appreciate people like that, and I don't appreciate. Oh my God, I might have to go tell Molly to be quiet in a second, guys. I'm so sorry. Hold on, guys. Let's see. I gotta mute really quickly. I am so sorry, guys. I'm gonna go give her one of her dental chews so she's quiet. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, I am back. Hold on. Okay. You've been writing more and talking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to do that because for me to get my point across, like I feel bad for people that have to read my writing. It's a lot. But I'm terrified of talking on the phone. I used to hate the sound of my own voice, although doing these lives has really helped me on that because my voice isn't actually that bad. It's not as bad as I remember. And because I listen to my lives after I do it, I I try to like pick up on how I'm communicating and figure out where I can communicate better. I think that there's always going to be the ums and the like and the you knows and all of those things that I say quite frequently. And I don't think I'm going to be able to like stop doing that. But I don't think it takes away from my message. So I'm not really upset about it. But it's built my confidence doing this. I'm not going to lie. The fact that anybody shows up at all to hear is just mind blowing to me. But um, you get tired of talking. I never get tired of talking. I am silent as the grave when you first meet me. I am very socially awkward. But it depends because I've also worked, I work in business, retail marketing. If I'm at work, I don't want to call it a mask. Um, because I don't think that's an accurate thing, but it's almost like an act that you have to put on for work. And I think we can all relate to that. So I have to be friendly and like, upbeat and that's not necessarily who I am. Like, as a person, I'm not going to be the first person to say, "Hey, how you doing? Do you need help finding anything? If you have any questions, feel free to ask." And, asking about, because I used to work in the pet industry at like a boutique pet store. As a certified pet nutrition expert, whatever that means. So I got a certification from UC Davis in that, and I'm no expert on anything, but so I'm able to do that, and I think a lot of us are able to do that. But if you just made me, I'm very shy. It took me a really long time to even be comfortable doing that. But once you get to know me, I don't shut up ever, ever. So but yeah, that's why I'm on here. It's just because I saw that, I wanted to do things a little bit differently. I've played around with a lot of ideas with what I want to do with the YouTube channel. And, I've tried to figure out the one that I want to do most. And I want to try a little bit of everything. I mean, I know that, if I'm going to talk about other people, that's going to bring in big crowds. I get that. But I don't, they do, Nina. Uh-huh. And to work where I was working, you had to get the certification in all of the pet nutritions from there. It took a while. It's like a whole thing. But it was interesting. It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. I don't know like if I remember. I don't remember like the dog and the cat stuff, but in terms of like avian and like small animal, I have a reptile, so I should know that. But stuff like that, I don't think I'm ever going to remember that. But in terms of dogs and cats, I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what's going on. But I've always had that catch 22 where I was supposed to my bonus was like based on commission. So my sales numbers, they call them KPIs, key performance indicators. So at the end of the day, I was a manager, so like I would have to go through everybody's KPIs and figure out where there was room for improvement and whatnot. And a lot of it was upselling and private label sales. But being who I am, I always had a really, really hard time selling products that I couldn't get behind to people, even if it boosted my numbers, because I'm an owner of all sorts of animals, and I absolutely didn't. If there was something that we were overpricing, I would tell people straight up, you can get this cheaper at Walmart, or you can get this cheaper, on Amazon or whatever, or you can get a better quality one, or I wouldn't buy that. I mean, I was always honest, but that's what built the relationship with my customers. Customers trusted my opinions on things. And that's what I valued more than anything else, not selling them a fancy bag of food that, has absolutely like the brand doesn't even have a vet nutritionist on their board. And, I'm supposed to sell that because that's the company that gave us a bunch of money to upsell them this month. I wasn't behind that. Oh, I have oh my God, what's a leopard gecko. I have a leopard gecko. I'm not, Nicole, I'm not the biggest fan of reptiles, but, I don't. Yeah, but see, Nina, the thing about it though is that I was able to do it without hurting. At first there's a method to my madness, right? But people kept coming back, and people would always, tell me that they really appreciate that, and when they started to trust my, my recommendations, I could basically tell them to put anything in their basket, and they would buy it. And most of the time they were happy with, and I always was really lenient about, because I had a lot of control over what I did. And it was a small store, so I was able to, if people wanted to do returns, I had complete control over that, and I actually impressed a lot of people with it. But there are a lot of people that, right, but it can be bad for business. I get that, because your profit margin drops if you're, not selling private label, or so on and so forth. But I really enjoyed that job, because no, Nina, I get it though. That was at first people were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm building a relationship with my customers, because, if they come here and I tell them to buy something and say, oh, this is so great, this is the best thing ever, and then they don't have a good experience, they're not going to trust my opinion on things anymore, and they might go somewhere else. So and it was like it was a chain, but it was a smaller chain. It's still in Canada. They decided to stop doing business in the US, which, I don't blame them right now. But it sucked, because I enjoyed the job very much. And, I definitely had a career path there and was doing really, really well. I had only worked there for actually probably a year and a half, and I was already offered my own store. So, a big one. And I was like, that's awesome. But the first gecko you saw was in Spain. Really? You don't have geckos? Well, I don't think we have geckos that are native to where I live either. I live in Rhode Island, which is in, the New England area, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, Maine, over northern US. And I don't think we have garter snakes, but that's all that I've seen here in terms of like reptiles. I've heard there's like a colony of rattlesnakes that live on an island in Massachusetts, but I don't know if that's like a myth. I'm pretty sure it's legit though. I'm pretty sure. All over Jamaica. Yeah. Well, in Florida, they're the anoles. Those little lizards, they used to be everywhere. My aunt had a house in Miami, and they used to be everywhere, literally everywhere, on the ceilings and everything. Yeah, I don't mind lizards. I'm guys, I don't know. Snakes, it depends. Snakes kind of freak me out. And every spring, okay, here you go, guys. Here's a fun fact. Outside of my house, there are these, I think they're holly bushes. And every single year, the first time I saw it, it freaked me out. There are garter snakes that every spring they'll come on there, and you'll see them. There's like, a couple. You see a couple at first. They're sunning themselves on the tops. And I live in the city, so this was the weirdest sight. Then hundreds of them come into these bushes, and they all have like this giant mating ball of snakes in my front bush outside every year, and it should be. Probably next month it'll happen. And then they spend the entire summer living in these holly bushes outside of my house. But every year they have this giant, like, there has to be at least 100 of them. It's really, yeah, Rodigal, it is. I'll send you video and pictures, because I was like, what is this? Because I literally live, Rodigal, I live like 10 minutes from downtown. You know where I live, but I was like, what is going on? I live in like the most urban part of Rhode Island that you probably can find, and there it is. Yeah. You can get them as pets. Oh yeah, okay. It wasn't a thing to have reptiles. Yeah, I think reptiles. I have mixed feelings about having them as pets, especially like the big snakes. Especially with how out of hand that's gotten in Florida. I mean, that's an invasive species, like the big, like the boas, or the pythons rather. And they're like overtaking the Everglades and stuff. And this is all people's pets that they've, got too big or whatever, and dumped, and it's taken over an ecosystem. Kind of like cane toads over in Florida, Australia, which is horrible, because I've watched a couple documentaries on that, because I was just like, really? Yeah, cane toads or something. That's a really bad thing. Really bad thing over there. And yeah, the Everglades. So, my family does a lot of interesting. So I spent a lot of time in the Everglades, because my aunt is she basically, she was like, I don't know what her title was, but she would do like, tours and stuff of the Everglades. It was like a volunteer thing for her. Like she was like a financial planner. But then, on her spare time, she was just really into like, conserving the environment and things like that. So I always got to go when I would, see her, go hang out in the Everglades. And, I, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it is a really unique ecosystem in this country. So, to see it, overtaking natural wildlife with no natural predators, it's kind of scary to see. And as the climate is warming, they're able to make their way up north, which is, just gonna the really the mosquitoes. Yeah, mosquitoes love me too. So I don't like going anywhere where there are mosquitoes. My perfume of choice in the summertime is bug spray, no matter where I go, because they will find me. And I already have scars all over me from getting eaten alive when I was sent to those wilderness therapy program without any bug spray. So I'm very paranoid. I don't like bugs. I don't like bugs at all. Bugs are not my thing. I don't understand why but it could be, they'll find me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'll be outside and nobody else, everyone's like, there are no mosquitoes. Emma, what are you talking about? And I'm like, get the bug spray, put the citronella candle on because they're getting me. They do, they love me. But yeah, I mean, because I come on here because I like to talk to you guys. I don't come on here because that's really where I think I have the wrong idea here on YouTube. Your death pantry moths, Rodigal. That's the only thing I'm going to say is pantry moths. My first apartment I got on my own was infested with pantry moths, and it was the worst thing ever. Yeah, SA, nope, no bug spray, none. And I was covered, and they made a joke to my parents about it too. They were like, oh well, and it's been kind of a running joke until recently, until I've kind of told them it was kind of hurtful. They were like, oh, don't be alarmed when you see Emma's legs, because they they're all bitten up, and she's it looks really bad. I still have scars, guys, and that was when I was 14 and I'm 33. And they were like, well, they made it sound like, it wasn't a big deal. And my parents have always been like, oh yeah, they loved you. When you came home from Second Nature, they told us that you had these bites all over. And, I'm like, yeah, I guess. But, I don't know why that they wouldn't allow you to have bug spray. Even like the natural kind, they wouldn't. If their idea was, somebody was going to like, eat it or something and try to, self-harm or something like that. I don't know what the logic behind that was, but they do have like natural ones, right? Like it doesn't have to be, 100% deep. Like they could have given us something, but it wasn't humane. They did give you a bug net. So, but it was in Georgia in May through the end of July. So it was hot. So for me to spend my time in complete long sleeves, which we didn't have shorts, so there was only long pants, and a sweatshirt, and I had to wear a bug net over my head. Like it was, you'd overheat and you'd get really, really dehydrated. So you kind of just had to figure out which was worse. You had a summer student at Brown once who said the professor back in Michigan had been making her. Oh, no, Rodigal. That's where I would be like, you know what? This degree this degree isn't worth it to me, and I am all set. That's like my sister. She's in, she went, I forget what her major was in college, but she went to Brown. She graduated with her master's from Brown in public health. And but prior to that, she had graduated from Clark, and she was working in something, but she would have to basically, do experiments with mice, with like, right, like experiments with it, and like, euthanize them. I was like, I couldn't do that, even in the name of science. Like, no, that's not for me. The Midgie of North Scotland. Are those like the like gnats? We have gnats here really, really bad, and it makes me almost not want to go outside because they'll fixate on you, and they'll like try to go in your eyes and your ears and your nose, and oh, and they're everywhere starting in the spring. And those are actually my biggest pet peeve around here. You're gonna have to pay on the other side for it. I'm gonna actually tell her that tomorrow. No, she's having, my sister's actually, if any of you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, she's having major surgery tomorrow, my sister. And this is the second time that she's had this surgery, but she doesn't have a meniscus in her knee. So, I probably like 10, maybe over 10 years ago now, she had a cadaver meniscus put into her knee, and it's worn itself out. So now she's having another one put into her knee tomorrow. So that's kind of creepy. Yeah, I'm, so fingers crossed everything goes well. But I was like, it's a cadaver. Like, how does that even work? But I guess, like, if you like donate your organs or whatever, I guess, your meniscus could be one of those things. And she has another person's meniscus in her knee. But that's kind of, amazing that, science can do the stuff that it can do. I'll tell you. Some of the things that we're capable of, this is really crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for that. I know, I'm sure she's nervous about it because, going under anesthesia is always, there's always a risk to that. And, you never know. You just never know. So yeah, it is interesting, Nicole. It is. There's something else that's interesting, and I feel like I should know about it, like, because my family always talks about it. But yeah, I don't know how many of these she's gonna have to have in her lifetime, but this is the second one. Rhodigal, I don't believe it's in Rhode Island. I actually think I could be wrong. It might be in Massachusetts, but she got her first one done in New York. That's my understanding. I think was New York. I'm not sure where she's getting it done this time. I don't I don't know. I should know. I should know. I need to check in with her. I feel bad. But yeah, it probably is Boston. If it's here, it's in Boston. She lives in, well, I'm not gonna say where she lives. Never mind. Shut up, Emma. but yeah, so the flies. Yes. Oh, I'm not into bugs. I hate bugs. I hate them. No, it's not Rhode Island. I had the guy who did my back surgery though is the one who did all the surgeries when that circus the trapeze collapsed. I think I forget what year it was, and everybody fell from. Do you remember that, Rodigo? I'm sure you do. It was in the news. But that was the guy who did my surgery. He was really nice. It wasn't his fault that everything went poorly, but I liked him a lot. Yeah, well. The spine center at Rhode Island Hospital, they do not. I will not go there again. That's all I'm gonna say. But yep, that's who did my surgery. But the reason I come on here is because I like talking to you guys, and I think that sometimes that's where I get caught up, because it's like yes, do people want to come on here and they want to build their channels and they want to grow and all of that? Yeah, I do. Of course they do. Nobody comes on here not wanting to do that, but at the same time, I like to talk to you guys, and this is kind of like my social life at this time. You've had back surgery too? Yeah, I have. That's the only one that I've had so far. I was supposed to have others, but because the one didn't go that well. But I have I'm gonna need a fusion very soon, and I'm hoping that'll actually help some things. But yeah, I don't have a disc left because literally, like, Rhode Island Hospital, they saw my MRI and they were like, there's like small herniated discs, there's medium herniated discs, there's large herniated discs, and then there's what this is. And there was mine, and it was literally one of the worst ones they had ever seen. So I have nothing left there. The entire thing has been removed. So it's like bone on bone, and there's scar tissue there now, so it's very uncomfortable, but such is life. It's not always that bad, Nicole. A lot of people, like, that's the thing. I don't want to discourage people from doing that just based on, because my story is a nightmare. And so there are some people that have had some really bad experiences, but there are some people that have had some great experiences, and it's really helped. Like, that's what I was thinking was going to happen. And sometimes life is cruel in some ways, but I don't know. I have not had, I had to have it. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to walk. So, it's kind of a catch-22. So, but if you're in pain, I mean, I suggest like looking at the, where you're going and kind of do your research on the hospitals or wherever you're choosing. But, if you have a choice with your insurance, because I know a lot of insurances don't give you a choice, at least here in the US. So, Yeah, spine injuries are just it's the injections I wish I hadn't done. But I'll go I could do a whole live about my experience with that too. I mean, I had a lot of rage and anger about that too. I'm very convinced that that's the injections was where I got the spine condition I have from. I'm almost certain of it actually. But yeah, Brigham, very good. Have I been there? No, that was probably I think the next stop for me. And I was going to, but then I kind of just gave up on life and caring about it. But I should, yeah, to stay mobile because that's all I want is to stay mobile. Um, oh wow, yeah. Yeah, whenever I see the word experimental surgery, it makes me so nervous because, especially when you're like, dealing with somebody's spine but a lot of people are so desperate. Like, uh, it's no joke, the back pain and that I've never experienced, I constantly feel like my body is on fire, is what I describe it as, like a hot fire poker being shoved into my right, like right above, your right butt cheek and being dragged down the back of your leg over and over and over and over again. So, I wouldn't wish that on my work. And it's not even that it's like, that severe pain. It's just constant. And it eats at your sanity. It really does. Because, no matter what you try to do, you can't get comfortable. And yeah, it's maddening. I remember when it first happened to me, I thought I was going to go crazy. Um, yeah, mine's on my right side. I have a disc that needs to be removed on my left side, but it's more like my neck. So I also have that as well, where my entire left arm goes numb and it feels like I'm holding um, like a drill, and I'll drop things, and I don't know which one is more horrible. I think I'm so used to being in pain in my leg that that's probably the lesser because when the neck stuff started, I'm not used to that yet. So it was like that experience all over again. But really, Mrs. B, that's interesting. Yeah, sometimes I feel, well, I'm convinced truly that if they had, well, I'll tell my story about it at some point, but I will. But a lot of the time, I feel like, it's all about saving money for them. And I know you're not in the US, so maybe I have heard the healthcare systems elsewhere is a little bit better and kinder, but I'm sure it's all about money wherever you go. So I am convinced that the reason they try to avoid surgery is mostly because of money, but in my case, they ended up making it worse, and I'll explain why at some point. But if you need surgery, you need surgery, and I feel like sometimes other things just make it worse. But I wish everybody with that the best. Yeah, I yeah, SA, I get that. Um, my right leg gives out quite frequently actually. I've fallen a few times recently and it's been very demoralizing actually. So it's made me paranoid to like do a lot of things, and I need to get over that. But it's really it's bizarre. It's like my brain doesn't connect with my leg anymore, and I'll think that my leg is going to move and it doesn't, and I just trip over it. And yeah, nope, nope, nope. So yeah, I don't know. I like this is why I like hanging out with you guys though. Really, that's awesome, SA. That's my surgery I thought was successful too at first as well. Like, it was going better for a little bit, but then, the thing about my body is I don't know if there's necessarily I think there is a word or a term for this condition. It's a genetic thing. But basically the gist of it is my body overheals, if that makes sense. So even when I had my gum grafting done and everything, they had to I did one half of my mouth at a time because my whole mouth had to get done. And on one side they used the actual like the string stitches, but my gums healed over the stitches, and then they had to like redo it because usually they wouldn't have done that fast. But my body like just diverts to like scar tissue. It doesn't heal. It just goes to scar tissue. It's just how it is. And I can also dislocate my hip and put it back in at will. I have double jointed toes. Apparently, that's all part of Yeah. Yes, Rody Gal. I do. And I know what you're going for, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. It's a right, yeah, with my the wisdom yeah, so I overheal. So they had to do the dissolvable ones on the other side because then they had to dig out the stitches. And, because usually they're like, well, people's mouths don't do that normally. So, for me it's like, at first things were getting better, but then my body just decided to put scar tissue where the surgery had happened, and it's painful. So that's my issue. So it's hard to, but I had never had surgery before, so I had no idea how I was going to react to that. I had no idea. I mean, I've always known, like, I can dislocate my hip, I can put it back in. I didn't know that was anything really weird. um yeah, Rodigal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know you do. Yeah, it's a genetic thing. I'm pretty sure it's genetic. um but it is immune responses and things. Yeah. Yep. 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 I do. So I think that's where that comes from. And my experience has been very, very unique. So I don't want to like discourage anybody from getting surgery that, they need, because there are people that wake up and their life is like so much better. Like my biological mom has had some major spine surgery lately, recently, and it has helped her quite a bit. So, right, yeah, when you're or like, yeah, if you're like, I don't know, like surgery, there are some parts of your body that I feel like are really invasive, and that's one of them. Really, essay, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I don't have like double jointed, like I can't like bend my fingers back any further than most people can, which I've seen a lot of people that can like that. But I do have double jointed toes. I know that sounds really weird, but I do. I can. Well, I must sound like a freak like saying this, but like I can write with my toes like about as well as I can write with my left hand. Um, and and of course, because when you're a kid, you try to do things like that. So of course I did. But here we are. But yeah, so I guess that's it took a physical therapist was like, have you ever been like genetically tested for certain? I'm like, no, I haven't. And she's like, yeah, you probably should. You probably should. And here we are. But I wanted to come out because I like to talk to you guys, but I have been getting really distracted by a lot of the stuff that goes on here. And recently, as a lot of people here know, I've been kind of brought into things that were a little bit shocking to me to be brought into, if I'm perfectly honest. And, that was a really hurtful thing that happened. And I've been, it's put me in a dark place the past couple of days. I've definitely been emotional. I'm dealing with stuff on top of that too. But I just, I just like, I wish people could just go on here and do what they want to do with their channels, and not, have everybody, I don't know, just let people do what they're going to do. Like, I'm not, if there are people on here who are on YouTube as a platform, I'm not just talking about our community though, that are really, really, really toxic, right? And there are people who scam and lie and cheat and steal and, abuse, or, all sorts of things on this platform. And, those people, yes, like, let's call that out. But, if people aren't bothering anybody, then I don't understand why. I don't understand why being, just because I'm part of this community does not mean that that's what I'm here to do, right? So, especially when it's things that are like personal, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. And I think I was too trusting. I think that, I like to think that, people have my best interest at heart, or, our friends. And, when push comes to shove, I'm just looking for connection on here. I've been in a dark, lonely place for quite some time now. And, when somebody comes in and they're supportive and nice to you and, make you feel like they care, and you open up to them. And then, I could understand if I had done something that was out of line, that why I would, be attacked for that. But I didn't do anything. Nothing. Nothing. None of the things that were said are something that even happened. It was all just, and I didn't even listen to all of it, guys, because I just don't care. Whatever. I'm not gonna, but a lot of the stuff I heard or people have showed me is lies. Oh, and Nicole, if you're not feeling well, I hope you're feeling better. A lot of people are sick too. A lot of people are really sick. Yeah, I get that, Air Force vet. I get that. I do. I totally get that. I totally understand that. Hey, anxious for peace. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Well, you picked an interesting time to come back. Um, but I'm glad that you're here. Um, I've heard a lot of people have come towards me lately and they're like, you know what? I don't know what to do. Everything's gotten out of hand and I need to take a step back. And I'm like, you know what? I might be there with you for a little bit. But only because I'm going to do my schoolwork, but I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to let it get to me because I'm just not, I'm not, because I'm not going to give people what they want. I was just so baffled as to why I was brought into that. I don't even know why. And then, whatever. I know what I am and I know what I'm not. And I'm going to let, my own words, my own actions speak for myself. Because I have nothing. Hey, Liberty Farmer, there's nothing left for, everybody. I can speak for myself. Like, if people truly believe that, I'm, things that I've been seeing lately about me, then, that's okay. If you want to feel that, I get that. Like I've said in one of my other lives, though, I was like, a lot of people have been burned. I have too. There have been people here that I have thought were one thing and they turn out to be something completely different because I am very trusting and I like to see the best in everybody. And then you have those people that just turn out to be completely, not what you thought they were. So I completely understand why people would be skeptical or, not trust that people are who they say they are when they come on here. I get that. I do because I've experienced it. So, I understand that. So it's frustrating to me because I know that I'm not, misrepresenting myself and I know that I'm not, doing, I know that, but other people don't. And in time that will show. In time that will show. So I've chosen in this regard that I'm just not even going to react because oh, thank you, anxious for peace. That's so nice of you. That's what I'm saying though. It's comments like that like, people, people see it. People see it. I try to be fair. I try to be open-minded. I try to see both sides of the coin. I try to, see other people's points of view. I really do. I don't want to be, just because I'm part of this community and I hang out with people because this is the community I come from. Like it has nothing to do with me wanting to be a drama channel. I don't want to be a drama channel. I'm not a drama channel. I have other goals and other things that I want to do, but I do talk about those things. Firstly, because I have a problem with a lot of it. And secondly, it's because, like I've said a billion trillion times, have you ever tried talking about YouTube with somebody who's not on YouTube in this community? They have no idea what you're talking about. They have no clue. Yeah, SA, and I've seen that. I have seen that. And I'm like, are you serious? Right, SA, and that's what I'm saying. And that's how I like a lot of the time I'll see comments and I really want to respond to them, but I don't because you know what? It's not worth my time. I don't have to justify. I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to do any of those things because, if people come over here and they watch my lives and, they see how I behave, they see how things have gone down, like really gone down, they'll see that, that's so untrue and unfair. And I'm just going to trust in that. I'm going to trust in that because people will see and people do see. And that's all that matters to me. So I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. And, sure, if people want to say that I'm fake because I came on here and I didn't mention something I struggled with, then, sure, I guess. But, I didn't want to come on here and overshare, first of all. And second of all, that's not what I wanted my channel to be about. That's not something I was ready to share with people yet. And the fact that somebody would go that low, just because of something that wasn't even true or real was mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. Like, I was just, my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, there is no way that what I'm hearing right now is real. Like, I must be dreaming because none of the things that, and what's the saddest part of it though, guys? And, I'm not going to judge. I don't judge people for where people go in chats. I think people should go wherever they want. I don't want people judging me for where I go. So I would, even people who go, and I'm not even going to give that person the time of day by mentioning their name, but, I see people in their chat, I'll, if I'm like clicking through and looking, and there are people that I know support me that still go there, but that's okay. That's okay. My problems aren't your problems. So, if you enjoy somebody's content, then by all means, go watch their content, do it. It doesn't bother me, even though that person has hurt me very much. What I didn't like about it was, because guys, I realized it, like, it's a hard position to be in because you're like, well, I support this person, but I also really like this other person's content and I like to participate. So I get it, guys. I've been in the same position. But what I didn't like was when it was happening and, there are people that support you one day and, they're like, oh, you're so great. And, I love your channel. And for what, and then, in the same, with not even 12 hours later, they're like, oh, well, you're fake. And, all of this nonsense that just isn't even fair or real or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, well, that is a little hurtful, but it just shows you in real time how fast things can change here. It just shows you like, how fast, how easily people buy into things that are being said that aren't necessarily real. And I'm just going to trust that in time the truth will come out, and when it does, I'll be here. Right. I don't like the fact that I don't like that either, though. Air Force vet, you're right. You're right. I don't think people's pasts should matter, really. I don't think that my past has impacted who I am. Sure. I think it's made me a stronger person. I wouldn't change anything for anything because I quite like who I am at this point in my life. I've done a lot of work and yeah, I don't, right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying though. I still, and, and things change so quickly too. So, one day, two people are like supporting each other, but then the next, because somebody did something, they're gonna, and I do see it. And I think everybody's starting to see it, how this stuff happens and how it goes down. But the difference is that, I don't, that's how I know that I'm not a drama channel. And that's how I know that I'm not, that's not what is for me. Cause I'm not about that. I'm going to go find allies and, find recruits to defend me on these and, any of that. So, yeah. Right, Mrs. B. Yeah. And I don't want to be part of any side. Like all I came on here to do was to talk about, and I'm not even just talking about in this community. I just talk about this community first because I'm like learning the ropes of YouTube and, I'm in this community, so I see it. And I'm venturing off into like, talking about much larger creators, and like the problematic crap that goes on here and the mentality that's happening and how people are, subs are being manipulated and preyed on. And people are like scoping out vulnerabilities on places where they can manipulate to, either get, influence, money, whatever. And that's all I wanted to do. I wasn't necessarily on here to like talk about anybody in particular. Like, that's why I would always say, if you think I'm talking about you, that might be because you see some of what I'm saying and that resonates with you. Or if you think I'm talking about a particular person, that could be because, it resonates with you as well. And that's really all I wanted to do. I'm not on here to like drag anybody. I'm not on here to bully anybody. I'm not on here to do any of those things. It is not who I am. I prefer to look at things from a different standpoint. And I really don't care if that grows my channel or not. I like the people that come to my chats. I like the people that I have here. I enjoy, the discussions that we have because we have a lot of fun. We talk about some nice stuff. We talk about a lot of different kind of stuff. And I think that people appreciate the fact that, no matter what happens, they can still come here. I'm not going to, put my views onto anybody else ever. I don't care who you support, as long as you're not being really awful. And even if you are, I might make a comment to you, but I'm not going to like, bully you or everybody's welcome here as long as they're respectful. So, and that I appreciate that you see that because a lot of people are like, well, you can't do that here. Well, I understand you can't be neutral and fair if you want to be like a clapback channel or, whatever, drama, or I don't even know these categories. Like YouTube is a brand new world to me. Okay, sure. You can't be neutral. You can't, do that, but that's not what I'm here to do. And I have every right to be part of this community, without having to do what other people do. That is the purpose. That is smart marketing. That is, smart positioning. Like I am literally putting myself out here amongst an audience that I enjoy and want to appeal to in a way that isn't necessarily being done. And, it's not a popular, a non-popular, but it's what I want to do. It's what I wanted. So Yeah, my intent. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, anxious for peace. At this point, I have heard some things that I am just like, what the heck? And I'm not even like I said though, I'm not even gonna talk about it. I wanted very much to put a screenshot I saw up here, and I very much wanted to talk about. But you want to know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it because when at the end of the day, when all is said and done, uh, it's not gonna fall. It's not gonna look badly on me because I'm not any of the things. I'm not those things, and I'm not that person. And if people want to claim that I am, when the truth comes out, and consistency is key. I'm gonna still be here doing my thing, and I think people will see in time that I am who I say I am, and this is who I am. I'm not here to do anything weird. That's not why I'm here. I don't know why everybody who comes on here has to have some motive. Like I didn't even necessarily come on here to talk about, Natasha in any way, shape, or form. I've been open about that from the get go. If you look at my about section, I'm open about that. I'm here to call out the troubled teen industry. I didn't know when that documentary was coming out. The podcast came out a little earlier than I thought it would, and we're definitely going to do another because I definitely have a really good show about that put together as well. But I've been caught up. It's distracting, and I need to stop letting this distract me because this isn't what I want to do. Yeah, everything will shake out in the end, Air Force Vet. It absolutely will, and I know that it might take a while. It might take a while. Because as I saw for myself a few days ago, people make up things about other people here and spew it as fact. Like literal lies. And people believe it. So, unfortunately, I'm sure that's gonna happen. And, if people believe those lies, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you, but I very much encourage those people. If you're not familiar with what I do here, if you're not familiar with my lives or my content, make yourself familiar with my lives and my content. Because I think you'll find that I'm none of the things that people are trying to make me out to be these days. And I also am not, so dead set in my ways, though, that I'm not going to, change my opinion of things based on new information either. But I'm also not going to I'm not far enough on like I like everybody being comfortable here. What I think is amazing about my community that I've have here is that there are people that feel safe from everywhere here. It doesn't matter who you support. Even people here who I've seen maybe get a little carried away elsewhere because I get carried away too, guys. I like I said, I'm from this community, so that should tell you what you need to know. I get caught up and I like drama like the best of them. Of course I do. But that's not what I want for my channel. But that doesn't mean that I don't go to other people's, you know what I mean? They're like, those are people I associate with. Those are people I socialize with. So it's hard not to go anywhere that isn't a drama channel or, what people could possibly perceive as one. But yeah, there is no proof, even if they're shown proof. Yeah. And I feel like the more proof that you try to show, the more defensive it comes off. And the worse it gets. So that's why I'm taking this approach, Mrs. B. That I am taking the approach of I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to say anything. People can see what if people see those things, they know what I'm talking about, and I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to continue to do my thing. I'm not going to give that any time of day. I'm going to continue being who I am because I know who I am. And I know who I'm not, and I'm certainly not the things that I've seen recently that people say. And if people want to come to their senses and see that, sure. If not, then I guess that's their loss, honestly. Because I'm not here to fight with anybody. But I love it that there are people that, because I came from Natasha's community. I'm friendly with people that still support her because, like it or not, guys, it's not a crime to support a particular creator. It's just not. And even before that, I didn't have a creator that had hurt me directly until the other day. So, I still see people I like very much over in their chat, but that's okay. I don't care. Like, it's not going to bother me because I appreciate the fact that people can enjoy somebody's content without necessarily agreeing with everything that they've done, because I know that those people like me and I know that they care about me and I know they don't like what was done. But that doesn't mean that they should have to give up, watching who they want to watch or participating, on my behalf. That's not fair. That's not fair, guys. So, I know some people think that they're, helping and they're like, oh, did you see this person? No, I did. I probably did see it, but I'm just whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Is it hurtful sometimes? Of course, we're humans, so. But I can't hold anything against anybody. That's not fair. But I appreciate that people come here, and if people have any questions, come ask me. Like, I'd rather you guys hear anything about me from my mouth than somebody talking about me. So at this point, though, there's nothing else that people are gonna. I told everything that somebody could possibly bring up against me in that other live that I did the night that it happened. There's nothing else on me out there that you're gonna find that is gonna paint me in any negative light whatsoever. It's not out there. And if anything that anybody says after this point in time is just straight up lies. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to play this game with people. I think it's sick because you can't win. You can't win. You can't make everybody happy. And a lot of the time, especially as a creator, you find yourself in your brain thinking to yourself, who is like who can I deal with the easiest to piss off? Because I'm at this crossroads and there are two people. So, no matter what I do, one of these people is going to get mad at me. Which one of them is going to react the least? And not put my personal information out there and not do things like that, because I didn't realize that was fair game on here for doing absolutely nothing to somebody. If I was doing videos on somebody or just spewing things, fine, sure, come at me for what I say on here, right? But do not, that's not a good look to just say something that somebody told you privately. That's not a good look, and everybody can see that. There was nothing that I did that would warrant that being appropriate. Not even close. Not even close. It's not even debatable. Nothing that I did would even, my mind doesn't go there, period. But yeah, Johnny, and there are some good people on here. There sure are. And I think that there are good people that act badly sometimes. I think that there are, bad people that, are really good at pretending to be something they're not. There's all sorts on here, and, people have to kind of navigate their way around it. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about on here was just those kinds of things that went on. I never came on here to put anybody on blast. And I think what happened, I don't even know what happened because I'm not going to listen to that live. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. From everything that I heard from it already for myself is just, it's hurtful and it's unwarranted and, it's lies. It makes no sense. But, that just shows you guys how easily, because I feel like, that's where it's going wrong is because anybody who's watched my content, anybody who's talked to me, whether it be in the chat or, via email, I think a lot of people have, gotten the sense of who I am. And, when they hear somebody doing that to me, they're like, what the heck? Because I've done nothing to that person, nothing. So, I if anything, I'm hoping that, what I had to endure, maybe can open people's eyes as to the stuff that really does happen on here to people. That, there are people who, either make up situations for God only knows what reason. Oh my God, guys. I was like, when I heard what it was about, I was like, excuse me. And at first it was like, all right. Okay. So, you're going to say that I'm supporting one. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Go ahead. You say who I'm supporting, whoever you want. I know that I've never spoken to that person. So whatever, I did the right thing. I stood up for what I believe in. I don't care. But then when it was revealed, oh, I have a truth bomb on her, and you bring my personal life and my personal struggles into things, because you suspect I'm talking to somebody, which I'm not doing, by the way. So there you go. Never. Not a good look. Not a good look, not warranted either. It just shows where you're willing to go. And you know what? It just reinforces in my head that maybe other people are telling the truth about things that you do. So, I'm going to lend them an ear. I'm going to be more open-minded. I'm not going to just assume people are good people because they're nice to me. Because usually I like to base my opinions on what I see from people. I don't like to go off of what other people say. But when you're on here, I think that sometimes that's the best course of action, to be honest, because there have been people that have warned me about all sorts of things. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm going to see it for myself. I don't think it's that bad, whatever. I'm not talking about the person that did that to me. I'm actually talking about somebody else, but I don't want to use her name because I just don't. It's somebody that we all it's somebody who likes coloring. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see a lot of the stuff that was going on with that, but I had to see it for myself to understand, because I would hate to pass judgment on somebody without knowing who they are. For myself. But thank you, Candy Kisses. I really like it's your guys' positive reinforcement that really just makes it worthwhile for me, honestly. Because when you're starting, and I am, I've always gotten emails, and I've kind of wondered where the emails were coming from, because a lot of the emails were just strange. Some of them were really creepy. But I think every creator that's on here starts getting emails like that. I don't think that's unique to me. And, I don't share all of them. There's some that I really would like to frame because they're just bizarre. But, I hadn't gotten like a whole lot of, blowback on anything that, I had done, because I don't think I'd really targeted anybody in particular except for Natasha. And even that I've tried to do in a way that wasn't, disrespectful or mean. And what I did that was this, I did take it down, because that's not what that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to be on here doing anything like that. That's not acceptable. It's not okay. And I did that for the wrong reason, and I'll admit that. And I took it down. So I know people are like, well, whatever. I don't care what you think about that. That's who I am. If I made a video that I don't think was appropriate, like, I don't want to body shame anybody. That's not a right. That's not okay. We shouldn't be body. I don't want to body shame anybody. That's not what I want to do. Because I feel like, if you're, making fun of one person who's overweight, a lot of people in our community probably are overweight as well. And, maybe nobody vocalizes it and nobody says it, but, some people could really be affected by that. And, it's really a hard thing to struggle with anyways, body image. And, I have all sorts of things on YouTube that I can talk about. I didn't need to go into, things like that to, for content. And that was wrong. And I take accountability for that. I don't want to do things that way. Yeah, you do start to distrust. It's very true. Because, yeah, right. You'll see people that support each other, something goes on, and all of a sudden, you see that person, buddy with, somebody you never thought that, and it's hard because a lot of people have been hurt by certain people. So then when a creator, becomes buddy with somebody, and, the demographic, not the demographic, but I guess it could be a demographic, but like, the chat, the people in the chat start to change. A lot of people get uncomfortable because they've had personal experiences with, with people in that, and a lot of people do have a history with each other. So, I understand how that's confusing and hurtful, and, no, I'm anxious for peace. I don't think you're alone there. I think you're very much in the right. I am. I'm starting to see the ins and outs of everything on here, and I don't like where it's headed, is what I'm trying to say. Am I an Elvis fan or a Zeppelin? I think I'm going to have an unpopular opinion here. I think I'd like the Black Crowes more than anything else. I can appreciate Elvis and Zeppelin. I can appreciate the talent in the music, the musicianship, especially with Zeppelin. It's just not my style. I know I get a lot of crap for that. I'll be the first to admit that, though. Like, there are a lot of bands that I respect and I think are really talented, and I can I respect the musicianship. However, it's not my cup of tea. I think one band that I get a lot of pushback on about that is, I don't really care for Tool, but I know that Tool is, incredibly talented band, incredibly technical, musicianship, and I just don't like it. It's not my favorite. And I get a lot of weird crap for that. Hey, Amber, Pink Floyd, I think Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd. I can get behind that. I had some of their CDs. I'm actually kind of one of those weird people that I listen to a lot of new music. which I like to play this game of, you find that Spotify, your most played list, and people try to guess your age. I'm part of a group on Facebook with that, and nobody can ever guess my age because of what I listen to. I listen to a very wide variety of music, wide variety. But no, Anxious for Peace, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people do feel that way, including myself, because we all like creators in here, but it's hard when, you start not to feel like you can go to a certain chat or whatever because of the people that are in there. And people can say that that's not true all they want. People can say that that doesn't happen, but I know it does. I know it does. Yes, the behind the scenes. You never know what's going on. You never ever know. And I know that the behind the scenes stuff is real from when I was on Instagram and had a much larger, platform on that. That's very real. I know it's real for like much larger creators, but a lot of it's like, scripted drama or whatever. Like, we're going to have a fight because we both need the views. Stuff like that. So it'll benefit both of us to, have this back and forth with each other. Hey, Dark Magician. If that makes sense. So I get that, but I don't think that really, okay, Johnny. All right, cool. All right. Like-minded person then. I just, yeah, it's hard because you do grow to care for some creators because, a lot of us come on here and, some of us don't show our, some of us have a picture, some of us don't. Some people go on camera, some people don't, but you hear our voice and we share a lot with you. And I think a lot of people feel like they get to know, I know I have with creators, I've felt like I've gotten to know them a little bit, and you don't like seeing people get hurt. The majority of the people in this community, I don't think are like, cruel hearted, just mean bullies. I don't think that at all. I think there's a lot of really, really good people here who sometimes react because, there's somebody that they care about who's getting hurt. And it's hard though, because when it's a community this small, it really quickly, like, divides people really. And some people don't know what, they like both of the creators and they don't know where to go. I felt that way before. I mean, I was going to talk about all of that in a different live, but then I decided I'm steering my channel a little bit differently. So I'm not even going to go into it, but I felt that way as a subscriber. Yeah, I'm not a country music fan. I can appreciate the musicianship of it. My sister really likes country music. But that's probably one of the only genres that I don't care for. I mean, I like Shania Twain though. I like Shania Twain. But yeah. But it's true. It's true. I just I don't think everybody's all going to get along here. I feel like, things are just escalating, and I feel like, things are getting taken to a level that, I don't really like. And I think it's really unpredictable too. I don't think that there's any, rhyme or reason as to, where things are going to go from here. And, you've heard things, and, and sometimes you have to wonder, you're like, you hear people on their lives and they're saying, well, nobody's off limits and blah, blah, blah. How much of that is just for, as an entertainer trying to, portray, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Are they actually going to do that? But, unfortunately at this point, I'm seeing it. So it's like, I don't think that's all talk to kind of give people the drama that they want. It's very real and it's scary. It's not just scary for creators. It's scary for subs as well. Because the people, didn't feel like they could voice their opinions before. I mean, I don't feel like people certainly don't feel like they can do it now. Because, there are so many people with issues with other people, and some people aren't even public with the issues they have with other people. So you don't know. And then you say something and you piss off somebody, and it's not just affecting creators. Like, as a creator, yes, I put myself out here. So whatever, I didn't deserve what I had happen to me. That's for sure. Me being on here does not, give anybody the right or permission to talk about my personal life and personal struggles that I said to them privately. No. Because I didn't do that to this person. I didn't do anything like that to this person. I was nothing but supportive to this person, except, disagree with some things. So apparently that's, a good reason to do stuff like that. And that's good to know. That's good to know. But, it's scary because, people feel like they're going to do that because there's subs that are being called out too now. And, a lot of us, none of us are perfect. Some of us have things in our past that, even things that aren't even that bad, that, we just don't want put on the internet. Is it so wrong to, especially as a subscriber? So now I feel like it's being used as like almost like an intimidation. I don't know, to keep people where they are. And it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. And I really hope that that's not what's going to go happen. But I feel like a lot of stuff has been escalating, and I feel like there's a lot of hurt. And when people get hurt, some people get angry, and some people get vengeful. And I think it's a perfect storm of a lot of things. I think that I think there are subs in this community that want that. I do, and I hate saying that because it's nobody I associate myself with, that's for sure. But I do see it. They're not people I'm familiar with, but there are definitely people who are all about this. They are all about the real life, and until it happens to the person that they like. Right. So, yeah, nobody should be being threatened, anxious for peace. Nobody. Was it a sub? Because that's unacceptable. It's not acceptable for anybody, but especially especially for subs. Like, you guys are on here to talk to people and to interact. Like, I'd say 90% of the people here that aren't like being vindictive to Alba was a sub. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's not okay. That's not okay. Why are we doing that? What is the purpose? What is the purpose? I'm pretty boring. Everything that anybody would have to say on me has already been said. And if people think that makes me a bad person or fake or whatever, then I guess that's their decision. But I think a lot of people can understand why I wouldn't, come out and be forthcoming with that information, or think that I should have to be. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing on here. But I don't know. Regardless, yeah, the going real life scares me too. It's really gross. I would never do something like that. Never. There are some crazy people on the internet, guys, and you don't know who is watching. You don't know who is listening. You do not know their mental state. You do not know anything like that. So the minute somebody's personal information gets leaked, you don't know who's seeing that, and you don't know what people are capable of. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And it should not be happening. It should not be happening at all. If you know somebody's personal information, you don't share that on the internet for everybody to see. And especially when there's like a quote unquote like a rival, whatever going on between people. It's dangerous, and it should never ever happen. I don't care how much you hate somebody. I don't care if it's your worst enemy. That's not appropriate. How would you like it if your stuff is? Oh, good. Well, I hope she's okay. Anxious for peace. I don't know the details of it because I'm here, but that's really sucky. That's really sucky. Yeah, like, I don't think, like, put yourself in those shoes though. How would you like it if your personal information, your struggles, your family, your background, and guys, that includes for Natasha too. Like, I think that there's some things that are just not appropriate to share. There's enough on YouTube for me to talk about that have nothing to do with me digging into somebody's personal life. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe there are other channels that feel comfortable doing things like that. And yeah, that's not my style, and I'm not going to do that here. But put yourself in that position. Put yourself in that position. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I get that. Right. You don't know if somebody's going to show up at your home. That's dangerous, guys. Like, I can't get that through people's heads enough. You're not like proving anything to anybody. What you're doing is putting somebody who, I don't care what they've done to you, in a potentially dangerous situation. And we know that there are some crazy people on here. We've seen it. We know there are. And you have no idea what somebody's capable of. Well, I mean, you look at some of these videos and they have thousands of views. You don't know who those people are. In the chat, you're only seeing a small fraction of a lot of people's sub counts. And who accounts for the other people that are watching? You don't know. And that's how things that are really awful happen. There's like a code of conduct when you come on here. And yes, it can get messy. And yes, people, go back and forth. And do I think that things are being done that, I don't care for? Sure. But, I think a lot of people are comfortable with things that I'm not comfortable with. So I'm not really, I guess, the best judge of it, I guess. But because I'm not down with some of the stuff that goes on. But there's never ever a reason to go real life on somebody. There's never a reason for it. Never, never, never. Not to share. If you feel that you need to know about somebody privately, because you feel threatened or whatever, that's on that's fine. Like, if you feel that you need to know, but you don't plaster everything all over YouTube, because everybody can screen record. Everybody can you can delete a video, but people have it, right? People have it. That information is there forever, and it's usually the people that whose hands you want that in the least that are going to screen record that. And people need to be really conscious of that, and I can't make that clear enough. I cannot make that clear enough. Nothing is private. And I can't make that clear enough with just sharing personal things. I mean, I learned that the hard way, didn't I? But, there are things that people haven't even spoken on here, like, and people's about people's families, about everything like that. And that's just not okay. It's not okay. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so cool. I found this piece of information about somebody. Oh, look at me. Like, do I get brownie points for, bringing this piece of information to this creator? And that's just not cool, guys. Like, if you find something about somebody, if that's what you want to do, keep it to yourself. Like, don't do that. Don't bring that to me, because I don't care. I'm going to tell you so too. I mean, I do not want to know anybody's personal information. I do not want to know like anything about that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what somebody's family members do. I don't care what they do for the most part. Like, or else it's on YouTube. I care if it's on YouTube. But like there's a much better way to do this here, and I don't know when we lost track of it, but I can't see things. A lot of people are just getting really, really fed up and sick and tired of everything, and it's getting scary. So, I'm just going to continue coming on here and saying it. Anxious for peace, exactly. I don't think it can be said enough either. And I like to think that if you stay out of it, that you won't get dragged in. But I found out for myself, I didn't do anything. I did nothing to deserve what happened to me, and look what happened to me. So, you never know. So that just makes people feel even less safe, especially when it's your family or friends or your like subs and their families and friends. It's so strange. Yeah, Air Force vet. Yeah, like what's the purpose? What's the purpose? If somebody's on here and they're not doing anything that's like breaking the law, why does it matter? Does it matter if I have a criminal record, if I'm just coming on here and talking? Does that really matter? Do you need to know that? I do not have a criminal record, but if I did, would that matter? Does that have any implications on, what I'm doing on YouTube right now? No, it doesn't. So, it's not all right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure, and Air Force vet. The problem is that I know people have, and I know people are on me. Like I said, I got a really not interesting email. I got an email. What was it? Maybe about a week ago. Maybe about a week ago, where somebody had a picture from my personal Facebook and sent it and included that picture in the email, and it said something along the lines of "not as private as you think, huh?" And I was like, okay, all right, well, yeah, I'm aware of that. Nothing that I have on there is anything that I'm ashamed of. If you want to see what I look like and you want to take the time to whatever, I don't care if you have pictures of me. I don't care. I am who I am. I'm not ashamed of what I look like. Far from it. So whatever on that. But you're not going to find pictures of my family on there that's, anybody that's under 18, or anything like that. And I would hope that nobody would do that in the first place. Like, what's the point? Like, I found that really, I was like, at first, of course, because I go to like the nicest scenario, because I'm like, oh, well, maybe they're trying to be helpful and tell me that, I should, look into what I have on there. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, and they didn't. And I think it was threatening. And, they did find a picture that I thought had been privated, and that wasn't. And I'm like, all right, well, that picture certainly is privated now, but they have it, right? So, and you never know what you're going to do that's going to like set somebody off. And I don't want to play games like that. I don't want to I don't want to do that. Yeah, and Mrs. B, I know that there's a lot of dislike towards certain people in this community. I get it. but I don't think that anybody on here isn't human. That's not fair. We are all human. We might have different motives for things. We might have different, yeah, I'd say motives, methods, madness, but we're all human. All the behaviors that you see on YouTube are very human. None of this is, yeah, I don't like that either. Because, even people, I think people forget, and I'm not talking about Natasha, guys, so like, please, like, hard stop, moving on. People also forget that, people who are sociopaths they lack empathy, not feelings. They have feelings. They actually feel very deeply when it's a slight at them, when it affects them. But they do have feelings. It's just a lack of empathy, feelings for other people, or else it affects them. Like, they might get upset if somebody that, helps them achieve, gets them something, if somebody that, gives them money loses their job, they might have feelings about that. But it's not for the right reasons. So that's what I'm trying to say. So everybody is a human being. Everybody has feelings, even people that, have done things that would make them cold-hearted monsters, and, in everybody else's eyes. They do have feelings. But, yeah, I don't like to be on channels that are like that either. And I feel like people take offense to that as well. It's like, just because I just don't want to surround myself with negativity. That's also one of the reasons why I kind of started my own thing, is because I and it's nothing against anybody else. And I hate that people take it that way, and I started feeling that way with a lot of channels, and I kind of just wanted to do my own thing, but, things get complicated, and, I'm working on a video that I'm going to be putting out soon that, it'll be after I take my little break. And then, after I just, am able to kind of step away for a little bit, but when I'm more prepared to handle the backlash that I will get from it. But, it's okay, because it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Right. Well, I agree with you, Dark Magician. You can't call someone else for a specific behavior when you engage in the same one. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Yeah. And it's like, nobody wants to hear that, though. Nobody wants to hear that. It's, nobody, I don't know if it's like a true lack of self-awareness. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what is stopping people from seeing what's happening. But they do. And, you become public enemy number one the minute you call them out on it. And you're like, hey, what you did there is not okay. It's the same behaviors that we're talking about. And all of a sudden you're like the worst person on the planet, who deserves like your entire full wrath. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting. I just wish people could get a grip. Get a grip. Take a step back. Look at your behavior. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Nobody's calling anybody a bad person. All I'm saying is, there are at least some creators on here own their behaviors, because there are some that do. They're like, yes, I am mean to people. I am a bitch. Like, and I have respect for people that can come out and say that, but don't say that, something that other people are doing is wrong if you engage in it, or no. And it's become hard to do that here. It really has. Yeah, Mrs. B, and that's right. And you're allowed to do that. I have no problem with that. Like, I don't have to like the same people as you guys either. Chances are I don't. But I also enjoy some people's content, and I also switch off of it if it gets too much. I'm also the kind of person that I don't usually listen to entire lives, because I get bored, and I'll turn it off. And I guess that's a big mistake that I make too, because I'll miss something. And I guess that's, I shouldn't do that either. Or, there are some people who go on panels a lot whose voices I can't stand. I'll be the first one to admit that. And I will turn off the volume or switch on to a different video if that person comes on panel, because I just cannot stand it. Or they just annoy me, which doesn't mean I'm going to come on here and drag them for it, because you know what? People are allowed to annoy me, and nobody else has to know that. And I just, so I don't hear things, or, sometimes I'm, watching TV, but I want to be like part of chat. So I'm just looking at the chat, and, these are all mistakes that you can't make here, I guess, because, the minute that it's out of control, I want nothing to do with those. Like, I don't. I don't. I'm going to continue doing things the way that I've been doing things. I'm venturing out. I am doing other things. I have something really, really awesome in the works, actually, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy what that thing is. I have some content ready to go, and we're going to do some really interesting things here. Like I said, guys, the reason I did all those polls and the reason I'm asking about, the different behavior is because I'm genuinely curious. It's called doing market research. I want to get to know the people that watch me or are part of this community, because there were some like results of that I had no idea people felt the way that they did. And it was interesting to me because some of those things are things that I do. And doesn't mean that I'm going to change what I'm going to do 100, but no, it's made me think. It makes me want to have a conversation about it. The particular topic that I'm talking about. And, what I would love to is about the whole having your payment info scrolling at the bottom or being dropped in the chat. Now, I want to talk about that because I want to know, does it matter if that person's monetized? Does that change how you feel about it? Do you feel that somebody who isn't monetized, who is not able to get super chats, do you think it's okay for them to have their thing scrolling or put in the chat as long as it's not excessive? Or some people genuinely thought it should be kept off of YouTube entirely, or in the about section. And I would love to have a conversation about that because I had no idea people felt that way. I actually was expecting something completely different, but a lot of people did have a problem with it. But for me personally, like, I'm not on here trying to make money necessarily. Like, obviously everything helps with things. Like, we all need money to survive. But I am not monetized. So, I did have my stuff scrolling at the bottom, or I'd have it dropped in the chat, especially, the fund for my cat's surgery. And I had enough guilt about doing that in the first place. But, as somebody, I do social media, like, kind of as my side hustle. And, for me, I've kind of had to talk myself into seeing it as, almost like paying to rent a movie on, like, Amazon or something, or, a streaming service, or tipping, an artist that you like that performed. Something like that. I have to tell myself it's like that, because otherwise I'd feel very uncomfortable with it entirely. But I don't personally have a problem with it. Yeah. So I was really interested about that. I was really interested. So I try to switch it up a little. I try to, it depends. Like, sometimes I'm like, what I'm talking about right now shouldn't be something I have my payment info, because I'm not, the last thing I don't want to be called sad fishing or whatever. Right? Because I know how people think. But hold on one second, guys. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like a tip for things. But to get monetized, you have to have, first of all, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. And that's it takes a while to get there, and some people get there and some people don't. Will I ever get there? I'll get there eventually. I'm sure I will. But in the meantime, I can't get super chats or super stickers or anything like that. So the only way that people can do that for me is through those methods. And I actually didn't even have those until I started on here, because somebody was like, you should, because that's, people will, they'll help you out with it. Because I had a GoFundMe and I felt really bad. I felt like a hypocrite, because I'm like, here I am calling people out on like certain things. And, here I am, having a GoFundMe for my cat. But, some people were like, no, we want to donate. So that's why I put it up. And, some people, I have it in my about section as well. But, I'm like, sometimes I have it scrolling. Sometimes I don't know. I want to figure it out with you guys, because, there are people that feel really strongly about these things. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that a lot of people did a lot of things, and I'm going to continue on with those polls, because I actually have some new questions that I want to ask. Based on recent events, I would like to know, because the more that I can see how people feel, and people feel comfortable sharing it without their name being associated with it, because when you vote on these polls, I can't see that you voted, or even what I can't even see that it was you, or else you put what you put in the comments. Nobody can see that, so people can have a voice without feeling like somebody's going to see it and take it personally, or get upset or whatever. So people can be honest. So if I'm seeing these results, right, and these are the people that watch me and engage with my channel, I don't want to do things that you guys don't like. That's not the purpose of my channel. If I'm doing things that make you uncomfortable, I want to change that. It doesn't mean I'm always going to. I might disagree, but I want to be able to take a look at it. And I know that there are other creators that feel similarly. I know that, none of us want to alienate our audiences or our community. And I think some people are more willing to listen than others. Some people, go on their stance that, well, it is what it is. If you don't like it, don't watch. And I get that. That's their right to handle things that way too. But I do care. I do want to be able to, put out the best channel and atmosphere as I can. And what that takes in the marketing world is to do your research, see what people enjoy, see what people don't like, see what people want to see, and how much they want to see, and what they think of all of these things, and try to take that information into the back of your head and be like, okay, well, let's make this a place that's pleasant for everybody. Let's make YouTube an experience that's not really awful and unpredictable anymore. You want to have that's all I'm trying to do, because I care about, I like to get to know the people in my chat. I like to talk to all of you. I love it. Actually, it's my social time. There's some really interesting people here. There's some really smart people, really, really, just really strong people, just really, really nice, kind people. And I'm just trying to do what I'm trying to do. I've been open about what I'm trying to do, and like from the get-go, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. All I want is a place where people can come together and chat, and we can talk about what goes on in the community, but not in like a drama channel way. Like, we can just talk about it, like, a conversation amongst friends, or, just having a conversation about the different behaviors and what's going on, and what your guys' opinion are on things. Somewhere where you could feel safe and not be judged, I guess, or overlooked, because I have a very small chat, so I'm able to read everybody's comments for the most if I'm looking at the chat. And I think that gives a better opportunity for engagement and to get to know people and for your voices to be heard. And I really, really enjoy that and value that about my smaller chat. Now, as I get bigger, if I do, I mean, who knows? I might not. It is what it is. Like, I'm not here to compete with anybody. That's not what I'm here for. I don't care about that, guys. I don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I do. And if people like it, they like it. If not, they don't. And I'm going to try a bunch of different things. I have a lot of different ideas. I kind of just came on here trying to take a business standpoint and, have a strong branding and a clear message. But as time has gone on, I think that I want to kind of do a variety of things. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that, you have to give people what they want to see. Like, if I just completely changed my entire premise of my channel, you guys wouldn't watch it anymore. And that's okay. Because, like, if I'm talking about things that you guys had know nothing about or aren't interested in, why would you watch me? You want to watch things you're interested in. But I think that's the beauty of, like, where I'm coming from, is that I'm also part of this community. So I see what you guys see, and maybe not always in the same way, but I want to talk about it too, because you can't talk about people in real life about this. They think you're crazy. And so we're always going to have that to talk about. I'm not changing that. I'm not going to stop talking about it. Like, we're always going to have that in common. So I will be making, a fair amount of, I'll always be talking about that. And then, I'm going to also take your cues from you guys, about what you guys want to see, what you guys want to, think that you'd like to hear my opinions on. And we're going to do some open panel. I have a lot of ideas, guys. Just bear with me, though. Bear with me. Especially over the summer, things are going to really get good around here. I have a lot in the works. I have to get through school. That's really like my one thing that's getting in my way of doing that. I hope so, Air Force vet. I hope so. I mean, if my channel does do well, it does well. But, I'm not unhappy with where I'm at here. Like, I'm not the biggest channel, but I definitely have way more people supporting me than I ever thought I would. I didn't think I'd get to 100 subscribers. Have a great day, Johnny. Yeah, anxious for peace. I get that too. Yeah, right. Especially for you. Yeah, in your situation, that definitely has So yeah, right. So people like you, actually, you're a great example of what I'm trying to say here. Is you're a great example of where YouTube and coming online would be kind of an escape and a way for way for you to interact as well. And I think that's especially true now, but for your situation, that's a perfect example. Thank you, Johnny. Thanks for stopping by. And I kind of feel the same way. I would like to, and during the summer, I will be getting out of the house a little bit more. It's just miserable and cold where I live all summer, all winter. And, I've had a lot going on personally, in school, and it's been a perfect storm of events that have kind of like made my mood not so great. But, when the summer comes, I'll be getting out of here a little bit more, I hope. But, a lot of us come on here for that. A lot of us are, a lot of us deal with our own stuff. A lot of people that usually maybe didn't spend a whole lot of time online spend a lot more time online. There's a lot of studies about it, actually. Like statistically, Americans are spending a lot more time online. A little bit less so now, but when the pandemic hit, channels that started off then, they were in the right place at the right time. That was the time, but at that point I was too shy. I thought about it. I've been thinking about doing a channel for a year now, ever since I saw that you could go on here and just talk and have people come talk to you. I was like, that's ingenious. I would love that. And every time I thought about doing it, I'm like, oh, like, what would I do? Nobody would care. Maybe I just do videos. And I kind of, went through a whole cycle of different things that I wanted to do. But bye, Mrs. B. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I always appreciate when you stop by. I like having you in chat very much. I hope you have a great, I think, yes, you're across the pond. So have a great night. And I just, that's why I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I kind of, was, encouraged by people, because I was making like videos like behind the scenes, for lack of a better word. I was making like little videos that I thought were funny, and most of those videos have never seen the light of day, because they're really not what I want associated. But I'm a human being. I'm funny, but it's not something I would share all the time. But I shared it actually with Rody Gal, and Rody Gal was like, I just said no, Rody Gal, I just said your name, and there you are. I was like, oh, Rody Gal, and she was like, hey, you should post the video. And I'm like, all right, I will. I didn't think anybody would like it, but, people really enjoyed my videos. So I was like, okay, I'll continue with this. And doing videos is really time consuming, guys, especially when you're doing them the way I was doing them. Like actually editing and stuff. I did summon you, yes. And it worked. I'm all powerful, guys. I'm going to let it go to my head. And I'm going to, summon all of that. I have MK Michelob Ultra Power too. No, I'm just kidding. But, and I was like, all right. So I was doing those videos, and then I'm like, I want to try my luck at going live. And Rody Gal also encouraged me to do that. And here I am. Hi, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. I'm probably going to get off here a little bit pretty soon. I might come on later tonight. This might be like my last day of things. I have some stuff that's ready to go that's for content that I'm really excited about, and that I might just come on here and do later. And then, shut myself in my room to do all of my final papers. So, I might do that. I might do it that way. But yeah, and Rody Gal was always encouraging me. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that. And then Rody Gal was even going into things and saying I was going live. I'm like, don't tell anybody. Cause I was planning on canceling it, but Rody Gal was like, no, I'm going to tell everybody that you're going live. So everybody's going to be there, and you're going to feel like you have to. So I did it, and I'm glad I did, if that makes sense. Oh, enjoyed driving to Fall River. I used to hate that drive. I lived in Fall River very briefly. I used to despise that drive, especially at rush hour. So I guess 2:30. Oh, yeah, but good luck with that, because that could be unpleasant. Yeah, thank you, Air Force Vet. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. And I will probably, like I said, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I need to lock myself in my room for a little bit. I'll still be listening. And you can bet that, I'll be keeping up with things that are going on. Because, I know that I've noticed a pattern of, if somebody says they're going to take a break, people use that as when they're going to pounce on that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue. I'm going to still watch when I can. Not as much, though, because honestly, it's not worth me getting upset about. It's YouTube. Anybody who watches my videos, anybody who comes and watches my lives, they know who I am. And I don't need to prove anything to anybody. and at all. Because I think I do a great job showing people for myself who I am. And, you know, I'm comfortable with that. And I'm comfortable in, you know, putting my name behind that. So here we are. But, you know, I need to do this homework. And, you know, it's been very distracting the past couple of days, let me tell you. You know, I it definitely, you know, if I'm not going to pretend that, you know, what she did didn't hurt. It hurt really badly, actually. Like that was probably one of the most rough, like 48 hours that I've had in quite some time. You know, just because of, you know, my personal life with that on top of it, especially feeling like so betrayed and so bewildered by it, you know, especially when it was out of the blue. Like, you know, if I had done a video and I was like, you know, okay, well, this doesn't paint somebody in a very good light, and you know, I would expect maybe some backlash, but when it comes from absolutely nowhere, you know, it's just bizarre. And then you can't help but have, you know, my brain goes a mile a minute. I'm always thinking. And then I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, is somebody in her ear telling her things that I'm doing that aren't real just to get her to react? And I'm like, that's a valid possibility. That could be true. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, who would do that to me? Because that's a really, you know, God help that person, because that's a really not a nice thing to do to somebody, and really sneaky, and not somebody I want surrounding myself with, let me tell you. Because I don't, you know, nobody tell that. I always look for myself. I'm not going to react before I see something for myself. That's silly. Or is that really just, you know, people are delusional? I mean, it's either or. It's either people believe everything they hear and react, or they're delusional. So regardless, yeah, but, you know, anxious for peace, I get that, and I hear that a lot, but I'm like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know what I have that anybody would be jealous of. You know, I'm like one of the smallest channels on here, literally one of the smallest channels on here. You know, I think I have a really great thing going on here, but everybody thinks that they have a really great thing going on. You know, I'm very proud of my community. I'm very proud of the atmosphere that we have here. So I guess maybe that, you know, but that's not really me. So I mean, I also don't give myself a whole lot of credit, where I should probably, but, you know, that's just not how my brain thinks. Oh, the anxious for peace. You know what? A lot of people have said that, and it always makes me smile. It always makes me smile, because, you know, it's hard to, when you're like, you know, you have, because it's hard not to take it personally, especially when, like, you know, you're listening to somebody spew lies about you, and you're watching your subscriber count drop one by one by one by five, you know, and you're just watching that happen in real time as somebody spews nonsense that isn't even real. And what hurts most about that is that there are that many people that think that that's such a horrible thing about me that they needed to unsubscribe because of it. And that was most discouraging to me. That was what was discouraging, was that so many people felt the fact that, you know, I had not been open and upfront about what I had said, you know, what I about something about myself like that. And people did what they did about it. I was like, okay, well, I guess that many people really feel that that's so horrible of me. Hey, Tokyo. Hey, Dave. And, you know, that was kind of hurtful, but you know, it is, because, like, you know, you work hard. You know, I don't want anybody to leave here. You know, I love seeing new faces, you know, especially like when I grow on here, I do see new faces in the chat, and I love that. And there are a lot of people that I miss that are elsewhere that I would love to have, you know, come over here, because I miss them. I miss talking to them myself. But they don't always see eye to eye with me on things. And sometimes they, you know, it's a whole thing. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but, you know, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. And anybody who has a channel, and if you want to tell me that that's not how you feel, I don't believe that for a minute. I think everybody gets hurt by things like that. To see that something so, first of all, that's not true. And second of all, that's so awful, or not awful, you know, that people are that judgmental. But, you know, and then I had to tell myself, and a lot of people told me too, they're like, are those really people that you want to surround yourself with, though? Like, if people are gonna, you know, judge you for that, or if they're gonna, you know, be so quick to judge, then, you know, maybe you're not the right place for them anyway. And, you know, I'm gonna stand firmly by that. So, you know, I'm not in any contest with anybody. You know, I'll get where I get when I get there. I mean, whatever. slow and steady wins the race, I guess, or something like that. I'm counting on it, I guess. But if I don't, I don't. I want to enjoy what I do. I don't want to have YouTube become something that's negative for me. I don't want to, sacrifice who I am to get ahead or to do anything like that. Because that's definitely a really successful method on social media, is to just be so outrageous and use shock content and, put on an entire act, even if it paints you in a negative light, to build a following. But I can't do that. Would I if I could? Maybe, I guess. But it's not my nature. I just can't. I can't be anybody who I am. And it is what it is. It is. But I think people appreciate that. I think people like the genuineness. I think what I have going on here is a nice, respite from what goes on elsewhere. And, I wish people didn't take that as like a knock at them. If people sometimes want a little bit more low key something, then people will come here and we can hang out and we can talk about the stuff that goes on without, having it be a whole thing. Like, cause sometimes that's not what people want, I guess. That's all I care about, guys. I enjoy seeing new names. I see new names every time I go live. Is that a Tokyo? Is that do you have in your picture? Is that an animal? I can't see. I feel like, I'm so sorry. I actually asked somebody if it was their cat, and it was their daughter in the picture. And I said, "Oh, you have such a pretty cat." And they were like, "That's my daughter." And I felt really bad. So I try not to make that mistake again. But because I can't see, I need glasses. I feel like it's an animal. I can't see though. But yes, I hope I didn't offend them, but I may have offended them when I said that. They were like, "Oh no, that's a picture of my daughter." I was like, "Oh, okay." Or was it the other way around? I don't remember. It was one of the two. I either said it like, no, it had to be the cat, because I would never say somebody's daughter looked cute. I don't want to point out people's children on here. I don't think I would do that. So yeah, it would have had to been that way. It's from Money Heist. Okay, I can't see. I'm sorry. I feel like an idiot now. Oh my God, my eyes are really bad. There's some people's pictures. I see Anxious Freeze. I see you have animals. I can tell that that's a dog. But everything else, it's like the Rorschach photos. That's like, sometimes I just see like forms, and I think my mind goes to where I want it to go, which is usually like, a cute dog or kitty. Yes. And it's so weird though. I mean, I'm never going to get used to people calling me like bee on here. I'm actually allergic to bees. So, I was just, like I said, I was looking at a grade that I got on a paper, and that's what I changed my name to really quickly. So it's, it's so interesting that people call me that. That's why I put that there. They're like, my name's Emma. So, I mean, feel free to call me Emma. That's perfectly fine too. But it is weird hearing people try to pronounce my name. They're like, "What the heck is a B plus?" I'm like, I don't even know what a B plus is, but I'm owning it. And I'm gonna brand the crap out of it too. I'm making it mine. I can be all about those bees. So, but I guess it's better than other things. It could be worse. But I think once like your channel starts to get recognition and like, stuff like that, it's hard to change your name without having like some repercussions for it. So that's why I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with it. I'm gonna make it work. I mean, who knows what a PewDiePie is either, but it works for him clearly. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Mike. It was just that instance, It was just that instance. And like I said, like, I understand that, that's part of, growing your channel. But I think that watching your subscriber count as somebody spewing lies about you, or doing something that personally to you, where you're seeing in your head, it's like, okay, well, those people think I'm a bad person because of it, then that's hurtful. That's what's hurtful. It was kind of just like, when it was in that context, I was like, oh, okay, well, I see how things are then. Whatever. But you know what? Like, it's also gotten me in touch with people that, I didn't know before, and, have similar stories to me. And, I felt a lot better. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more connected and closer to a lot of the people on here, because a lot of people really shared their stories as well. And I got way more positive outreach than negative, by far. I think like the negative I received was probably 5% or less. And that meant everything to me. Because I think I don't think anybody really agreed with that, like me or not. There was no need for it. But I think it was, everything happens for a reason, including stuff like that, because I definitely have my eyes open now. I definitely see things for what they are. I definitely feel like I no longer have to. I am indebted to nobody on here. So I'm just going to continue to do me. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And, if people end up changing their mind later on that, you heard some things about me and you didn't really like that, but you never really gave me the time of day, and you listen and you're like, hey, maybe this person's really not like that, welcome. And I'm waiting for that. Because I know it'll happen. It'll happen. Or if, you decide that you don't like what I'm doing, but I always encourage people, like, if you don't like the content I'm doing anymore, let me, like, I'm really open to feedback. Like, let me know. I want to know what you guys want to see. I don't want to come on here and talk about things you guys don't give a crap about. There's like one thing that I'm going to talk about no matter what. I don't care. I'm going to tell my story about the troubled teen industry. I really, if people want to show up to that, that's great. I love the support. And I want to get the word out there. But if you don't, I understand. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But, I don't want to come on here and bore you guys. I don't want to come on here and, talk about things that you don't care about. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk to you guys. So if I'm talking about something nobody wants to talk about, then I'm talking to myself, right? So I don't want to do that. So I'm always open to like ideas and stuff. And I'm also going to start inviting some people up on the panel. Because I think there are a lot of people that can have good chemistry with me, that can, we can have a good conversation. And I think that they can bring something special to this channel and the dynamic that I have here that might make me a little bit more interesting than just me talking all the time. Because sometimes I feel like I am having a conversation with myself, in which case I feel like I should have written a monologue, which I was doing for a while. I did write scripts for a lot of my videos and things like that, because I get off topic so quickly. I can't help it. My brain is everywhere. There's so many distractions that I'm looking at right now. Like I have like a fidget toy. So I'm like always moving. I'm like bouncing my leg. Somebody said that, came in the chat once, and they're like, why are you hitting your leg on something? And I'm like, what? And then I listened to it. I'm like, oh, you can hear me shaking my leg. It's a nervous habit. I'm nervous on here. I don't, I'm not a public speaker. This isn't like my comfort zone necessarily. It's becoming my comfort zone. I'm certainly not going anywhere. I'm getting very comfortable here. So, I'm here for the long haul. So, like it or not, that's the thing though. People trying to push me down, people trying to, hurt me. It motivates me. It motivates me to prove everybody wrong. I do not. And that's been something I've had to learn, because I used to react immediately. And then all anybody would see was my reaction to what happened. Nobody would see what they did to me first. And I would be painted as like, the villain, the bad guy. This is when I was a kid. And, was very impulsive and had, some behavior problems and whatnot. But, as an adult, I've had to just be like, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm just not, I'm going to prove everybody wrong or right, either way, or I'm just not going to do anything at all. And people can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But, at the end of the day, because I know who I am, you can only be motivated. You can only sustain yourself on lies for so long. You can't continuously lie. And then, the truth is always going to come out. Always. It might be, a couple of days. It might be a couple of weeks. You might get away with it for a couple of months, even years, but the truth will always come out. And I'm counting on it. I'm counting on it because I've done nothing wrong. And, my intention on here has never been to hurt anybody. My intention on here is never to make somebody else feel bad. I don't get off on that. Like I think there are some people, around here that do get off on that kind of thing, but I'm not one of them. But I'm not live in this community. You're going to say that there's not a place for me. I can't handle it, or I'm too nice. I really don't care. I really don't care. This is my community. You guys are my people. You guys are the people I enjoy talking about. You guys come here because you enjoy listening to me talk or interacting or what I have to say. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters to me. I'm also, like I said, I am venturing out into different communities. I'm doing different things. I have a plan. Because, I think that, if people want to go there, that's fair. I don't think that, just being in this community is a good move for me. No, I don't think it is, because I'm not gonna. I don't participate in a lot of the, like, I'm not gonna do that. Even if somebody does it to me, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't play games with people. I don't play games. Not even if people like, try to force me to either. Like it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So I am doing other things as well, and kind of venturing into other people's chats and other topics. So I'm well versed in YouTube. I'm not just I've never really participated in chats until I came to this community, but I've been watching YouTube for a while. I was kind of involved in another community. I think the one thing that kind of turned me off about that community is that I'm much older than the people in that community, and I think it showed a lot of the time. As much as I would try not to, I don't know. I guess I don't know. But people wouldn't really talk to me in the chat. So I, kind of just stopped going. But that doesn't mean that I don't see what, I've got a plan, guys. I've got a plan. I've got like a business plan, because this is my business, guys. It's not a business. It's not a business. I think business way, business mindset. But no, I'm just using other people's words. But it could be a business. I'm not against that. Who's against making money doing something? I mean, that they enjoy. If YouTube ever becomes something I don't enjoy, though, it's not worth making money doing. I strongly believe that. I don't think any money in the world is worth doing something that makes you miserable, or puts you or your family at risk, or a lot of the other stuff that I'm starting to see here. So, it doesn't mean I'm going to leave YouTube. It just means that, I might take some time off, or I might do things a little differently, or, I might just, not be around here. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Who knows? Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, I'll email you, Mike. I'll email you. That actually might play well into something I have been researching, actually. So I will. I'll email you. I'll try to do it today. I should be able to remember. My brain is on some sort of functioning level today. I'm not as cloudy as I have been, but yeah, as long as people, continue giving me like, positive feedback, and people tell me that they enjoy my chat and they enjoy being here and they enjoy listening to me, that's all that matters. That's why, when people take the time to, if they're watching on replay and they comment, it means a lot to me. I like the feedback. I love the feedback, actually, not just because like, people, of course people like to hear people say nice things about them. But it does, it encourages me to keep going. It encourages me to kind of, continue to stay true, because, it's hard to stay true to yourself on here. I'm finding that. And I'm not perfect. I don't always make the right choices. That's being human, is making the wrong choice, and then, acknowledging it, and, moving on, and learning from your mistakes. Hi, Mom of Two Men. Oh, I got it right this time. I didn't say Men of Two Mom. Okay, good. All right. My brain switches the words around sometimes. I always feel bad because I'm like, no, that's not right. That doesn't sound right. But okay, it's Mom of Two Men. Hello. I always enjoy having you here too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. I just want a nice, like, positive space for people here, where we can talk about things that people like, but we don't have to go crazy, right? Like, are there going to be times that maybe I, like, get emotional about something? Yes, there are, probably. I'm a human being. I react to things. Like, what I had to talk about the other night was really hard for me. I'm still haven't listened to that live because I don't want to hear it. I have a lot of shame and guilt and, all sorts of emotions that, don't impact me very well about that. And I didn't want to have to come on here and talk, because it's not what I don't think it should matter, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if somebody wants to come out here and be open about their experiences with that, like, I think that I admire that. I think that's really brave. And I think that that's awesome. But I don't think anybody should feel like they have to, right? I don't think that anybody should feel like they have to be open, but, I've been told that, actually, well, also, other people telling me what they've experienced and what they've gone through, that makes me feel less alone. And I think that was really good for me. It was good. It was good for me to have that chat and to see the support that I had. It was really, I was overwhelmed with the amount of support that I got, and it just shows that this community has really great people in it. I mean, I don't think everybody always behaves well all the time, but I think I've said this from day one. There are good people in this community. I wouldn't be here if there weren't good people here. There's so many. There are millions of communities on YouTube, millions. But I choose to be in this one, and I don't have to be in this one, but I choose to. And a lot of it has nothing to do with the creators at this point, because I don't even want to go down that road right now, because I just don't. It's not what I want to get into. But I mean, there used to be stuff that I was interested in on here all the time. Like, there's a lot of true crime and stuff, but lately it's just been really drama for a lot of it. Not all the time, but for, there's a lot of channels that used to be part of this community that have moved on and are no longer part of it, and are doing something different, which is probably smart on their part. You know what I mean? So it's a different atmosphere. But the people are the same for, a lot of it. So there's still a lot of really good people here. And I think that gets overlooked a lot, because when people see what's going on around here, they're like, oh my God, this is like, the Hunger Games YouTube edition of people trying to, one up each other and outdo each other, and, take each other down. And I want nothing to do with that. But, if being a creator puts a target on my back, so be it. But yeah, I mom of two men, I know, and I feel that way too. Yeah, I feel that way too. And I feel like some people take it personally when you say that, though. Like, I'm not criticizing how anybody else handles their channel. I just think that sometimes people need a break from it, right? And there are some people, and I've been the first one to say it. There are some, and I'm not going to say who, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But, there are some people whose voices get on my nerves, or the way they communicate get on my nerves. And I can't take a whole lot of it. I always one time when I was a kid, I tried to explain how my feelings worked once. And what I said is that everybody has a different sized bottle, or cup. And, when it rains, some people's cups overflow before others. And my mom thought I was very astute and smart for saying that. But, it's how I feel. I mean, I think I can take so much. It's not a one size fits all. Right. Yeah. But Rody Gal, like, the thing about it though, is that that's what's, clearly a lot of people enjoy it, but I'm here for people who maybe want to do something a little differently. And I know it's not going to be the most popular option, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like, cause I'm not on here for the reasons that, people say. I don't even know at this point. I'm not even going to go there, but I'm just going to do me. And then if people come, they come. If not, then, so be it. I'll talk to myself. I'll talk to Rody Gal. So I honestly thought Rody Gal was going to be the only person in my chat the first time I did this. That's literally what I thought, and I was very surprised that I actually had quite a few people show up for my first live. Yeah, mom of two men. Yeah. And part of me wonders, and I'm just speculating out loud, guys, and I'm saying in general, like let's take this out of just this community, but in YouTubers in general, or social media stars in general. How much of it do you think is really who they are? And how much of it do you think is all for show, for views and subscribers and content? Because me being somebody who's likes to see the best in everybody, I tell myself that it's not who people are, and that it is all for those reasons, because it works. It works. I don't know if it's sustainable per se, but I guess once you get like really big, like some of these TikTok stars who get famous, or YouTubers who get famous for doing really awful stuff, I guess once you get that big and you have that kind of money, if you invest it well and you save it, I mean, who cares if you lose your following eventually? I think once you get to a certain point, you're kind of immortalized. Like, you're always going to have a profitable following, but maybe not as much as you had. But, nothing at this level is like that. Here it's do or die. Like, if you lose your following, you lose your following. And, that's that. I'm talking about like much bigger creators. Who get into like the millions for doing stupid things, like the prank ones. I'm like, that's so stupid. There are people making billions of dollars for playing video games on the internet and yelling at people. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I am in the wrong business. I was born at the wrong time. I don't even know. So, and I'm a little salty about it. I'd be lying. I'm call me old. I am a little salty that there are people that all that is expected of them to make millions of dollars a week is to do a 15-minute TikTok or a 30-second TikTok video of them dancing. Like, that is what is expected of you for you to make millions of dollars. And then they act like that's even hard. It's like, oh, well, it's too much. I'm like, well, I literally broke my back for a company that, didn't care about me working like, 60, 70 hours. But okay. 30-second TikTok dance. Sure. All right. Real world problems right there. So yeah, I think a lot of it's really stupid, but I'm old. I think the older generation has always thought what the younger one does is stupid. I find myself falling into that. So, oh, I definitely will, Mike. I'll shoot you an email a little bit later. I will do my very best to remember. I'm sure I will. I'm determined today. But yeah, have a good rest of your day, Mike. I might be on later. Yeah, it's like Jerry Springer. Right. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch anything like that. Like, my parents were, I'm not going to say my parents, my mother. My mother was very, very, very particular about what was able to be watched. I grew up in a very unique household. That's all I'm going to be able to say on that. Like, very unique. I had a very, very interesting upbringing. But yeah, I was never allowed to watch that stuff. I wasn't even allowed to watch The Simpsons. So that was I wasn't allowed to watch anything. I mean, Rody Gal will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, but probably other people who are local aren't. But, I could only watch channels 2 and 36. And in order to have an hour of screen time, which could be my choice of, either watching television or Game Boy or computer games at one point, because computer games, I had computer games. I had to do 1 hour of reading and 1 hour of physical exercise, whether that be pedaling the stationary bike in the basement or going outside and playing street hockey or going for a walk or biking or whatever. And I had to do it for an hour. So 2 hours of stuff that I didn't particularly want to do to get 1 hour of screen time. And my parents had a timer, which I always thought I was being really slick by pushing it back. Like, my parents didn't notice. Like, I was playing The Sims when the first Sims came out, and my mom would have, it was like an egg timer. And I would keep winding it back. And like, sometimes my mom would just let it go for hours. And I always felt so accomplished that I had pulled the wool over her head that I had made 30 minutes last into 5 hours because she was on the phone. But my mom used to caution cone off the entire street when I'd play street hockey. It was so embarrassing. She'd made me put the helmet, the wrist pads, the knee pads, the shin guards, like all of it on. And nobody else's mom made them do that. But that's a story for another day. But yes, I always thought I was much smarter. And I'm like, my mom knew all along that it was longer than 30 minutes that I was playing the Sim. Like, come on. I was like, no, my timer hasn't gone off yet. So, yeah, we get a laugh out of it now. But yeah, so I don't know, guys. I'm probably going to be off here soon. Oh my God, I didn't realize it was 2:27. Are you serious? I've been on here for that long? No. Okay. Well, yes, I am going to get off of here now because I have to go do something, but I appreciate everybody for stopping by, and I will be back on a little bit later, I think. I do need to, oh my God, I am going to be late. So, okay, I'm horrible. Oh my God. How did I lose track of time? That's why I like talking to you guys. This is what happens to me here. Somebody needs to tell me. All right. So I might be back a little bit later. And then we can talk more then, but I hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for joining.